Hey everyone, welcome. Wow, this is I don't know what episode of this is Tuck Talk Tuesday, but it's definitely rolling along. Cannot believe that it's already mid-October. And for those of you who are in Canada, I know you guys celebrated your Canadian Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a great time and are coming off those turkey sleeps. So I'm really excited today because we have Basel Miami here, and we have two of its co-founders, Scott Spiegel and Scarlett Arana. But before we get started, I see a few people here on the Twitter space. And for those of you out there in Metaverse Radio, you always know that you can join the conversation as well if you just log on to X, or you can actually follow us on YouTube and Twitch. I have Bit Basil here on the Twitter X space. I will bring them up as speaker just because. And I want to do a shout out to Hexadize, Altered Alley, Honeycomb. Hey Lex, hi Ira and Joe. So glad you guys are here. So for those of you on Twitter X Space, if you can, please retweet the space and go ahead and DM any of your friends and networks so they know that you are here. This is a really this space is a special space. Not that all the previous ones were not. The reason why I say this is because if you don't know, Miami Art Week is coming up in December, and the whole Art Basel is coming up. And the fact that we have an organization or an entity, quite an important entity, leading that what is it? That whole scope and ecosystem for the intersection of art and technology is really amazing. And I know a lot of people here who come to Tech Talk Tuesdays, they're actually digital content creators, dabbling in the AR, VR, XR space. So, and I know that you know that they would totally want to get in on this, and will also probably be dropping some alpha. So go ahead and share out that space. I will bring on Scott and Scarlett. Just a little heads up. Scarlett won't be able to stay. He's quite, you got to be believed, they're quite busy. Like, I know it's only October, but like December is literally around the corner, and they got a hell of a lot to do. So Scott will be joining us for just until about 30 minutes in, which is probably 20 minutes now. But then we'll definitely have Scarlett here to answer all your questions. So if you have already retweeted the room, that's thank you very much. And let me bring on Scott and Scarlett. I'm actually bringing them on the live stream. Hopefully you can hear them through the space. And if you don't, let me know. Hi, Meta Mike. I know you just joined, in D Snap and Mona Art NFT. Hi, Beach Ma'am. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to bring on the live stream Scott right now, and Scarlett. Hey. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hey guys.
Hey, I'm so glad you guys are here and you made it into this bandwidth part of the internet. Scarlett, I mean, Scott, are you guys in Miami right now? Seeing the little Miami location right there behind Scott.
Um, in my mind, I'm in Miami. I'm actually flying back there tomorrow, but right now I'm in Philadelphia. But I get back to Miami tomorrow. So, but always in Miami. If you guys aren't seeing my background, there's a little bit of the taste of Miami, the blue water, and the palm trees.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, okay, so before we start, I do want you guys to give a little intro, a little bit about 2 minute intro into your background and how you got here together with Basel Miami. But just up to then, because then we'll have you guys talk about the origin story of Basel Miami. So Scott, how about you start?
Me? Okay. I'll start. My background is really Bitcoin is my background. I really fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, I guess, 11 years ago. I was a freshman in college, and I found about this technology and this new alternative currency that might solve what I thought was all wrong with the world. That I learned that, governments are actually not maybe taking our best interest of heart. There's just something called the Federal Reserve, and they're giving us on a long path towards a bad end game. So, really since I have been, I guess, 19 years old, I've been really deep down the Bitcoin rabbit hole and passionate. From there, I kind of directed my studies around that whole, trifecta of blockchain and Bitcoin, really economics, political science, and computer science. Out of college, I joined the Blockchain Education Network, which was used to be called the College Cryptocurrency Network. Started the first ever college groups around blockchain. I was able to start the Tulane group when I was in college and the University of Miami group when I went there for grad school. And then I became the director of global partnerships there for a few years. And then that's when around 2018, me and my friends in Miami, we wanted to bring this community more together IRL because there was a good community in Miami. And we started the Bitcoin Center, which is the Bitcoin Center Miami, which is an offshoot of the Bitcoin Center New York. There's a documentary called Banking on Bitcoin that talks about the Bitcoin Center New York, opened in 2013. We brought down the Bitcoin Center brand, the first one, to Miami. So we had a co-working space for 2 years. It was more of like an innovation hub right in the smack dab of downtown Miami. Our landlord didn't like the word Bitcoin, so we were actually the Blockchain Center. Luckily, we had the domain blockchaincenter.com. So we were the Blockchain Center Miami, but everyone knew the origins of the Bitcoin Center and that whole Wall Street origin. And I'm still here. We're still doing the same thing of just, obsessed with this technology, trying to spread decentralized tech to the masses. And that's when I met Scarlett as well.
Oh wow, like there's so many questions I want to ask you. But I love that that's your background. That's crazy. Okay, we'll stop there. Thank you for knowing to just like keep them hanging on about how that happened. Scarlett, I'd love to hear how like what is your background and how you got to up to meeting Scott.
Yeah, no, definitely have a very indisciplinary background. So I'm actually an architect and a geospatial scientist. Early on, it was very complementary to Web3, as it turns out. So, um, and yeah, it's very interesting how we got here, knowing my technical background of spatial computing. So everything from sensors, the lidar, data capturing, volumetric scans, and so forth is my area of expertise, as is more in the geomatic survey stuff, and which is delineates to the 3D internet. So this actually all is very relevant because I had to deal with basically the internet itself, a very good understanding how the internet works, how satellites works, and how spatial computing, IoT, edge computing is going to all integrate with the conversion points. And in 2018, I actually met Scott. I was more interested on the spatial computing, so I was with Scott in the Blockchain Center, and more towards the spatial computing VR. We had VR nights on Fridays, and talking about augmented reality. And we did workshops and meetups and so forth. So early on, we were really pushing the narrative of how these conversion points will happen. It was very early at that time, in terms of adoption. And it's just very interesting how we all transitioned to this point. And because everybody in this call is very early into Web3 in terms of adoption with this new emerging technologies are happening. I think this year was a very pinnacle point of adoption. But then in 2020, of course, we during COVID, we had to close down the Blockchain Center, but we actually started the Bit Basel, which happened in December 5th of that year, in order to kind of talk a little bit about the new digital renaissance and how NFTs were a big conversion point for artists to basically monetize and capitalize. There's an area called Wynwood in Miami. They're known for these graffiti artists. And then we're just going around kind of talking about the use cases of these technologies and, like creating digital twin of the Wynwood walls and creating augmented reality and creating NFTs and so forth. So, these are very early a construct of this technology. But, through our activation in 2020 is when we really brought everything together, both virtual and ROL and real life, and really had helped bring, allude to where we are. But yes, my background more is on the technical side, is more on the spatial computing and that intersection of decentralization and blockchain, which now is going to be very important as we're now seeing a lot of good use case through decentralized AI, decentralized XR, and how you can be part of this new ecosystem through job creation. So it's really exciting where we are right now.
Oh my God, I love that. You are just so a tech nerd, aren't you? I have
Yes.
never, right? I have never met a female tech nerd. Like you, but yes, I have. But in terms of the technology and your background, that is so relevant into Web3 and what's happening now today. And that's the thing. I want to deep dive, and I have a few questions. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you, and I know some people in the audience has as well. But before we get started, I will say that this program's content for Metaverse Radio does not necessarily represent the views of the radio and is for entertainment only. It is not legal, medical, financial, or investment advice. The host, guest speakers, artists, and other collaborators may have personal or financial interests in the subjects they discuss. So please critically assess the information presented. Not all content is appropriate for all ages, and the listener discretion is advised. Scott and Scarlett, thank you so much for that little bit of intro. I know we can keep going on and delve more into like the each of you, but I do have a question: the origin story. Now, wow. So you guys met in 2018, and then 2 years came about, and then Basel, Miami came about, and you said December 5th, 2020. So can one of you walk us through the early vision, like behind Basel, and how it evolved to become like a key player in Miami's Web3 and NFT scene?
Yeah, I mean, I can it kind of foreshadowed it a little bit, but we had this innovation center, the blockchain center, for 2 years, and during COVID, I mean, it was a different time for everyone. But if you guys remember, in our industry and in the crypto industry, and it was kind of just bubbling up at that time. It was actually quite exciting. And our community down in Miami was very excited too. And there was this new thing called crypto art that was just starting to bubble up, and NFTs were starting to get talked about. So as the blockchain center community and the Bitcoin center community, with our mission of like, just spreading education, mass adoption, we decided to host an event during Miami Art Week, Art Basel. There was no Art Basel that year because it was COVID. We decided to throw Bit Basel just as a one-time event, and we gathered together maybe 100 people in Wynwood, socially distanced, not, I wouldn't say everyone had masks on, but a good amount of them did. And we had a virtual event like this, where we brought on pretty much every top speaker in the NFT space, from the CEO of OpenSea to the CEO of Dapper Labs to the CEOs of Rareable and Super Rare, all talking for 3 hours about this new amazing thing called crypto art and NFTs. And I remember the CEO of Dapper Labs was talking about this MBA project that they were just about to release. So that was an awesome event. And then it was really about a few weeks later that Beeple dropped at Christie's, and the NBA came out with their collectibles, and NFTs just went vertical. Like blockchain went vertical into the mainstream consciousness. And also during that time, Miami also went vertical because our mayor went on Twitter. But it was kind of that realization that like our mission of spreading mass adoption of emerging technologies, it's really done through the arts, and the creators and the creatives and the artists are the ones that bring these new technologies to the masses. Whether we see it with NFTs or we can go across different emerging technologies, AI and VR, this is how we see adoption happen. So, BitBasel really took on the flag as like kind of the same mission that we had before, pushing for the mass adoption, but now really using artists as our storytellers, working with them, helping them get on board into this. So that's how BitBasel came about. And we've been doing the same thing, I guess, now this will be our 4th year and our 5th BitBasel during Miami Art Week.
You know what? The fact that you did this, you launched at the epic center of at the epic not epic center at the epic point of COVID is like fantastic, and the fact that what is it, Art Basel Miami did not take place because of COVID, and you guys picked it up, and now look where you guys are today is like it's just like amazing. Like I wish I had known about that, and when you and Scarlett were talking about your beginnings, I kept thinking in the back of my mind, oh my God, if we only knew about over the reality like in 2019, 2020. But that's another thing. I just that was just in the back of my head. All right, so let's talk about artists because it's obviously Basel is really all about art and technology. So maybe Scarlett, I'll have you answer this. How does Bit Basel specifically empower artists, like to take control of their digital work? And like, what are some tangible tools or resources that Bit Basel Miami provides to help them succeed, like in the Web3 space?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all great questions. There's mostly facets of what we do, from both academia to the public sector. We really wanted to. Blockchain itself is it's been very grassroots. In order to really help it create a standard, we partner up with University of Florida, where we actually created a blockchain research lab, where college students can actually take credits and learn about this technology. So a lot of which is under the School of Emerging Technology, and so those are students who are XR and AI wanting to take this, but anybody from University of Florida, which is number one research public institution in the United States currently, can take blockchain classes and courses. So a lot of our creators really come from maybe a tech background, and so but didn't necessarily have to be a developer. So from the creator standpoint of view, or artists, what we do, we're a strong believer of like people learn best in real life, and so the onboarding is more of how the users or artists are learning how to use this technology, where they can actually talk to thought leaders and ask these specific questions. So like how do I open a wallet, crypto wallet, for instance, or how do I create a metaverse gallery, for instance? And so we definitely host a lot of meetups and events to help, based on the community's interests on learning these tools. So the more onboarding is really the key point to this, because these are just tools. The tools are for the artists to then become more what they can and be participant on Web3. And so everybody is different. So whether you're a developer, which with Basel have done a lot of hackathons. Matter of fact, we actually have mentored and taken students from University of Florida to a lot of developer conference like ETH Denver, for instance, and to kind of show them who is the industry leaders to be able to have this conversation. The panel talks, of course, helps because it highlight different type of projects, which is essentials. But more so importantly is, the ability to interact and network within those industry leaders and thought leaders on those spaces, really what the biggest value. Each artist, for instance, come up with a different project, and we help them elevate their providence, and actually show them, showcase them in our events. This is how artists are found globally. Because we're no longer constrained to the brick and mortar, we definitely leverage metaverse and the ability to network online, and both in real life and virtual is a key component. So artists, like I mentioned before, who are in Winwood can be discovered globally. I think that was a pinnacle point, and really helped Miami to put the map, because everybody started to hear about what's going on in Miami, what's happening in December, why all of a sudden like this happened. But it was because we were just leveraging the technology in a decentralized manner, and each artist really helped advocate for their art and how they're using this technology. So that explosion where ecosystem converge between decentralization and the creator industry has created this huge network of that. But yeah, so one of the things that the artists learn from all this is like they're no longer restricted to that brick and mortar. They can be discovered from other parts in the world. So the tools that we definitely provide is, that intersection of these type of emerging technology, which is XR, AI, and blockchain. And so that's really what's happening in terms of Web3, as well as, understanding, the basic fundamentals. We always start, for and meet where everybody's at, and that really helps. So also very important to note that Miami is a multilingual, multicultural city. So oftentimes a barrier entry could be the language itself. So we actually teach classes in Spanish because we want to try to reduce that barrier entry, that maybe the language itself could be a bit intimidating. So that's another thing, Miami, again, being a very multicultural city helps with more diversity. And that's one of the really distinguished point of what we provide when we do these RL events. We thought, besides bringing the thought leaders in the space, and besides showcasing the different type of toolings that each technology provides, and really help them showcase of how this art is used through the onboarding process, and just not just talking about it, but actually learning how to use it. So that's the key pinnacle point that Basel have provided to these artists.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Now, Scott, I know you have to dip in about 4 minutes, but if you can, thank you so much, Scarlett, for that. Thank you so much. Scott, I want to give you one last question. I know Scarlett had already kind of like alluded and she kind of like said the answer, but I just want to talk about Web3 in Miami. Now, we all know Miami is rapidly becoming like the global hub for technology and blockchain. Like you guys got Brico. So, and Scarlett had already mentioned how Basel is contributing to this transformation. So, what role do you think Miami will play, like in the future of Web3 and digital art, Scott?
Yeah, no, great question. And obviously from a digital art perspective, even before blockchain, like the city is so inspired by the arts, whether it is like these kind of modern art methods of digital art, or just kind of seeing the latest trends. Obviously, Art Basel is a cultural event, 30 years running. The Wynwood Walls are a global spectacle. And so Miami has that cultural piece, but really, like in terms of Web3, and blockchain specifically, I'll go to that. It's just Miami is a global city. I mean, it's very much influenced by what's going on and the people and the heritage from Latin America. And, especially now and before too, but it's very difficult maybe for your typical American or first world, citizens to grasp the concept and the utility of cryptocurrency. But for somebody from Argentina or Venezuela or any developing country, it could even be in Asia, they get it right away because they're a community that their history is marked by these economic storms that happen, mostly due to the mismanagement of fiat money systems. They need for a lifeline, a way to store their wealth and transfer their wealth safely and reliably. So obviously the advancement of stable coins over the last 3-4 years across the world in developing countries is a staple of that. And just even like we said, we had the blockchain center in 2018, 2017. People in Miami just get it because they come from that background of whether it's Cuban or Venezuelan or Argentinians, like, oh, we get Bitcoin, we get it right away. So I think that's why Miami as a city has always embraced it. We have not just our government and universities, but also restaurants and artists and citizens that embrace it. And there's really, it's kind of an open, they want it, where maybe if you look at New York, there's still a little bit of skepticism towards the crypto industry. It's like, hey, you're never going to defeat Wall Street. And maybe in like Valley, it's like, oh, crypto is, that's not real tech. But in Miami, they see it as really a competitive advantage to lead the world and be this global finance center or decentralized finance center. So not just from the side, and let's talk about the metaverse side of Miami as a very visual and beautiful place. But I really think that just the history and from like a real economic perspective, the city of Miami is a perfect fit for cryptocurrency.
Wow, I couldn't agree with you more, to be honest. And I'm so glad you were able to join us. I know you have to dip. You have to dip like right now.
Thank you. Yes, I apologize, but hopefully we can do this again soon because I'd love to get into more questions and talk about what we have coming up in December, and hopefully everyone here can join us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll definitely get together again and have another one of these. But have a great day, Scott, and have a safe flight back into Miami.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, it's the girls. It is the girls.
Yes, yes, no, definitely. I definitely want to bring one of my good friends. She's actually helping us, Ariana, onto the conversation. Hopefully, she could either join us, and because she's my also partner in crime. We often talk about metaverse as to be part of
Oh,
this conversation.
definitely. Do you think she'll be able to come on the live stream? I think she's on the
Yes,
Twitter space.
yes. So she's on Twitter Space, but hopefully she'll got the link.
Okay, can you
Uh,
send her the live stream link?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
she's here. Okay.
Perfect. Awesome.
Fantastic. Woohoo. Okay, so ladies, if you don't see me on video, that is fine. It's because I'm highlighting both of you. It's not that my something's wrong with my computer, but like, okay, we'll wait for her to come back on. But I want to get into the event focus, Scarlett,
Mhm.
because this is really what this space is all about. And for those of you in Metaverse Radio, again, really, if you can, you can follow us on the Twitter X space and join the conversation. But if you guys are comfortable sitting in your on your couch or driving into work or wherever you're going on Metaverse Radio, so glad you're able to make it and join us. I am speaking with Scarlett Arana, one of the co-founders of Basel Miami, and they're having an event coming up, and we'll hear more about this. So, Scarlett, the upcoming event at the Sagamore Hotel, like it's a cult is really a cultural milestone. So, what can attendees expect from this event, and how will it blend Miami's like rich art history with like cutting edge digital technologies like NFTs, AR, VR, and maybe even AI?
Mhm. Yeah, no, this is a quite exciting time. I think this Bit Basel, this would be our fifth Bit Basel that we host a 7-day art fair. And so what it is that conversion board between art and tech. We now enter the new age of the digital renaissance is what something I love to talk about and feature and showcase a lot what the industry and artists are doing during our 7-day activation. And every day there's a different theme that talks about whether it's impact or AI or XR or blockchain. So there's a little bit of everything. So we're known for doing these amazing showcases at the Sagamore. So if those who've never been to the Sagamore, Sagamore has a bit of a history. That's actually where Art Basel originated. So we like to give homage and provenance to the Sagamore because that's really where it all kind of started. It's just that we're starting the Web3, the digital renaissance side of things and within the art and tech industry. So that's what's so interesting about what we've been doing. So it's really exciting. So during the daytime of this 7-day activation is all the showcases and panel talks. And at night is all the festivities that we're also known in, and where we're bringing a lot of amazing DJ artists that are in Web3 as well, and kind of highlight how music and art also is converging, how they're utilizing these emerging technology. So why Bit Basel? Well, Miami during that time it's called the Miami. It's actually Miami does these amazing art fairs around, but what makes us very different is the Web3 side of things. And so it's really can showcase of how artists are utilizing these technologies. So when you go there, what to expect, even if you're not in Web3 or like are Web3 curious, it's a great place to kind of showcase how you can use this technology because these are the tools of the internet, right? So I love these ROL events. They're all digitals, and there's ways to, even if you can't participate because you're not physically in Miami, you can still participate in the metaverse because everything gets live streamed. Of course, the ability to network is with fellow artists and creators is really a thing. So Miami is interesting because Miami is really the DeFi capital of the world. And you combine that with the largest art fairs in the world, you really do get Bit Basel. So Bit Basel is that conversion points of like how the industries are using art and technology and showcasing throughout the week. And that's what you really would see. And during the and we also bring about into the space. So you get to meet who's doing what in the different industry respective, and how from a creator lens, right? So that's also another good key point. Besides the festivity, of course, Miami's known for its parties, but what really sets us apart is how we're using this technology. And how are the artists? It's really the artist who always gives me the great ideas. Like, oh, I didn't think about using this technology in this matter. So and I think that also helps. But oftentimes, a lot of this tech that we talk about, like spatial computing and metaverse, is very abstract. But when you come to our event, you actually can see like, oh, this is how it's being used, and this is how the creators are utilizing technology, and you get to meet a lot of the artists and creators utilizing the technology. So that's a very pinnacle point. So if you want to get involved in the Basel, it starts on December 2nd through the 8th. So all you have to do is go to www.bigbasel.miami to check us out. And the showcase is right there, so you can come in and enter. And with us, you never know. There's a lot of like amazing new artists who are coming out, and we always bring a wow factor, something that does get that global headline news. Last year, we were talking about putting art on the moon. We successfully actually put art on the moon. So this year is no different. We're going to always bring a wow factor to kind of discuss how this technology going to be utilized. So more to that, but you have to come to Big Basel to find out.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. So, guys, for those of you on Twitter or X Space, what I did was I pinned the website link onto the Jumbotron or the Nest or the Billboard, whatever you want to call it. So please go and click on that and have a look. And for those of you watching on the live stream, I'm gonna pin it over here. Now, uh, talking about Ariana, she was on the Twitter X space, and I was having trouble bringing her on, but I do see her here on the side, so I'm going to bring her on. Let's see if that'll work. Now, where is here? It is Basel, Miami. I'm going to put that right up there at the top. So for those of you who are looking at the live stream, that is www.basel.miami. Now let's see if we can bring on Ariana. Ariana, if you can hear us, your camera's not on, but let's see if you can just come on anyway. Let's just check this out. There you are.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely, totally. You're
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome. Happy Tuesday, right?
happy
So
Tuesday.
I'm so excited to be here and thank you so much. I'm strengthening my space muscle, just so you know. So every day getting a little better. So I appreciate the opportunity to jump on and support this very important initiative. And thank you for your support, Fem. Just to share a little bit about my really interesting background, I come from a really interesting kind of background. So, just to share a little bit, I have strong familial ties to technology. So, like some people talk about the nostalgia of like playing, catch with their dad, right, in the backyard. For me, it was like talking about tech and just kind of witnessing incredible moments in our historical, what brought us from the beginning to where we're at now when it comes to the future of the 3D internet. And so, being 11, 10, 11, 12 years old and watching your dad on his own tackle the mountain of Silicon Valley, at that time, Java was like the biggest thing, and he was an early contributor to that. And the Internet of Things, as we know today, and listening to him talk about that. And it really inspired me as a young woman watching an immigrant dad who's an entrepreneur, come to this country, serve his country, and then tackle being a scientist and then going into this new space. And then also, a few years later, him being one of the contributors to the Ethereum experience. And to kind of ride that journey, have talks at the Thanksgiving table about, did you buy your ether, right? So, right, like when it was like $11. So, and all these conversations. So that was something early on for me that's really stuck with me. Now, later in life, after being a mom, I just to share a little bit about my background, because I want everyone to know that this space is for everyone, especially women coming to this space, to not be intimidated. So that's why I share this story. And Scarlett knows she was Scarlett is my colleague, sister, godmother to my children, supporter in life, and I adore her. And Scott's great as well and the team. But just to share, I spent the last year at Unity Technologies, which you guys might be familiar with, right? The largest gaming engine in the world. And I was recruited onto the government aerospace and defense team. And it was an unlikely place because I had never experienced it, but I challenged myself to grow into something new and fell in love with everything spatial and beyond. And I was really inspired to the point where I ended up doing some work with the Virtual Reality Augmented Reality Association, which is a huge organization that drives business and opportunity for creators and organizations, walking us into the future of the 3D internet. And so I'm now the director of global ambassadors for the Virtual Reality Augmented Reality Association, also known as the VRARA, and also have been supporting as an ambassador the Basel team here because it's a passion of mine. But it's led to so many things. And, what I want to share is that no matter where you're at in your journey in this conversation, Miami Art Week with Bit Basel at the Sagamore is where you want to be. And, we want people to come from all over. And, we're seeing that Miami Art Week is now like a household event. When I was there last year and the year before, I can't tell you how many families came from all over the world with their children to experience the art and the tech and the music. And it is like that type of thing. Maybe after hours, it gets a little bit more adult friendly, right? But it is truly about everybody being present and being part of this and becoming more mainstream. So super excited about that. So just to share as like kind of we approach this like Miami Art Week with Bit Basel at the Sagamore, December 2nd through the 8th, just to remind you. It really stands, in my opinion, as the ultimate representation of how collaboration across art, music, tech, and just DeFi, right, is shaping the future. And blockchain is not only the exciting things that we think about with like financial opportunity, but it's really the technology. And I've known this for a long time in my spirit, so that's what really gets me going. But blockchain is not only revolutionizing ownership, but also the opportunity to serve as a bridge that connects creators, technologists, investors to really, as a call to action, to collaborate like never before. That is what's going to get us to where we want to be, is collaboration with unlikely people, right? That we never thought of. And so this is really key. Now, it's the spirit of collaboration that drives the power of what we call the metaverse. And some people, they push back on what the metaverse means, but it's really pulling together all of the elements, right? Scarlett and I talk about this all the time in our phone call podcast, which is just a phone call, but we should record this. She says it all the time. She's like, I wish I was just like recording this because it's a podcast. She says it like every call, but it's like so much fun when you have passion, right? But when we think about it, there's so much fragmentation. And when we take smart cities and blockchain and digital twins and AI and spatial, and we have the connectivity, that's truly the metaverse, which is the future of the 3D internet, right? And so pulling together all those elements, like all of those components, is how we really get a cohesive digital ecosystem and where the magic happens. Now, the true power, sorry, I don't know how much time we have, but I really want to get this point across. The true power lies in how creators are coming together to leverage the blockchain, right? And unlocking new models for creativity, funding, I know you love that, and innovation. And Bit Basel is more than an art show. It's a celebration of a collective power of creators working in harmony with technology to build a new digital economy. That's what we're doing. Now, the collaboration, again, I'm going to keep coming back to that, is really key in realizing the full potential of decentralization and what that looks like for us. And this event truly showcases how the fusion of art, music, tech can drive us into the future. So I'm excited. I hope that everybody joins us at Bit Basel at the Sagamore that first week of December. It's going to be an unforgettable, historic celebration of collaboration, creativity, innovation, and really a moment to be part of the movement that's changing the world. So the party starts at Miami Art Week, December 2nd through the 8th, and it's in your hands. So let's get with it, people.
We're getting with it. We're getting with it, Ariana. Thank
That
you
was a
so much.
mouthful. I've been like, it's been on my heart. So thank you for letting me share that.
No, 100% it was. But you know what? You said it very well. I loved your passion, and I can't believe your background. Like that is like totally fantastic. I do want to do a shout out to some of the people here listening in the Twitter X Spaces. So if you don't know, Hexadized, where is he? Honeycomb. We have Dr. Raz coming down. Cryptocam is going to be there, and a whole bunch of other people, including moi. We will be down in Miami. So I believe it'll be from I think the 5th to the 9th, and we all leave on the 10th. I'm not sure, but we're definitely going to be on the last half of that, and we really hope to meet you there. We do have a few activations of our own. We have this Wintar Wonderland. It is the Christmas time, and we are organizing a lot of content creators coming down to create like different themes on the different XR platforms. So we'll totally give out more information on that. But I want to also shout out to if you don't know, if you're not looking, I know Mariana, you did join the Twitter X space, so thank you so much. We really have like quite a bit of content or XR creators here. I want to do a shout out to Altered Alley, One Woman. We have Era X Labs here. We have CryptoCam. We have Binks. She's quite in the music NFT space. She holds like weekly podcasts. They just did Rizzle Fest. It's just fantastic. We have Joe, we have Brover who's getting started with 3D content creating. We also have Strawberry. Brover are the two of Over the Realities power mappers, but that's a whole other thing. I want to do a shout out to Onboard 60 and Dina Snab. You're still here. So big shout out to Lex too at Tech Mental, who had connected me with Scott and Scarlett. Oh, thank you so much, Lex. But yeah, like we have people here, Era, Altered X Lab. We have so many content creators here that I'm really hoping that if they can, and LM Designs. Oh my God, LM, you're right there, and I had you in my head, and I can't believe I didn't mention you. But LM, I know that they would love to be down in Miami, and if they can, I hope they will. However, I also know that thank God to technology, they can also contribute, and I will be posting the actual form, like for any content creator or artist to actually submit their work for Basel Miami. Like this is like a great time. You know what? It's a perfect
Yes.
time right now. The intersection of our technology, especially with blockchain, we're creating this ecosystem of collaboration. The creator economy is just like growing and evolving. And you said it, Ariana, it's really all about collaboration and the types of innovative collaborations that you wouldn't even know could have ever happened way back. But it's just like fantastic. I really want to delve more into your background in another space, but I'm probably thinking, I'd love to be the fly in the wall between your conversations with Scarlett and the both of you. And I did get to speak to Scarlett yesterday. Please, by all means, start a podcast. I mean, you
Yes.
girls are such
Yes.
techie nerds, and if you're just talking about all this stuff, like please, like do the world a favor, and let us hear into your girl geek talks with the metaverse, blockchain, DeFi, and all this technology like spatial computing. It's like insane. But you just stay right there. I wanted to actually ask Scarlett about some of the artist success stories. And I wanted to ask her if she can share some of the stories. And that's where she wanted to bring you on board. Right, Scarlett? Okay, take it from there, and then you can ask Ariana what you need to ask her.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think it's one of the most humbling experience is those who know me, I know that I love to do impact work. So how these emerging technology is creating real world change. We actually do the crypto art challenge, where it has to do with the sustainable development goals from the United Nations. And every year we ask artists to submit artwork pertaining to one of the sustainable development goals, like SDG number 5, which is gender equality, elevating women into these spaces. So as an example, and as a result, artists are being discovered through Bitbasel, because now their provenance is being elevated and their impact is now being felt through larger community. That Web3 collaboration helps. And then, I love to hear these stories and how, these artists are making real world changes, utilizing this emerging technology. And through the Crypto Art Challenge, these artists were selected be part of the Luna Prize, which is the first time capsule that went to the moon. And that happened on February 22nd of this year, in order to preserve humanity's data. And so that was something that helped elevate a lot of the provenance of these artists who are doing impact work. For example, SDG number 14 for oceans, and then and how they're utilizing their art to being evangelists to the impact. And so that was a really humbling story of how we can actually use leverage the internet, because we're no longer grounded to brick and mortar. This is something that, although it starts in Basel, it can go literally out to this world, to the moon. So, these are some of the cool use cases that I love to talk about. And because, from the first artwork, I just remember one of my artists who came with us very early, Alejandro Glantz, who does papayas. He's really funny. Is one of our earlier artists, and then he wasn't into Web3, but we helped him learn about Web3, and he started to make a living from that, and that helped him also
Love it.
create new job opportunity. I think the job creation is really the pinnacle point. A lot of these artists are now figuring out ways to monetize their artwork. We talked about the Wynwood Walls. A lot of those artists, they make beautiful mural, but they're not really monetizing on that. So we actually show them, like, you create, an NFTs from this. That's a livelihood for them. And so, we hear cases after cases of how these artists are using, developing more job opportunities for them as well. And so we know, and they, developed over time, a huge following. So we know that it's been very effective in terms of educating. And then I particularly am very fond of educating women to have more diversity into the space. It's super important.
Yes.
I often wear this shirt called Satoshi is Female, because there's not a lot of women. And people are funny because no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto really is, and everybody assumes it's a man. I'm like, why can it not be a woman as a use case? And so, this is where it's oftentimes, it's a kind of distance. I realize, hey, there's some really badass women in tech here that needs to be elevated. So that's another way of like how we can help have these conversation and kind of normalize that too. Like, yeah, this is tech is for everybody, impacted for everybody. So that's another avenue that we saw as a success stories, and the relationship and networking that gets involved in this, because Web3 is a very supportive community, and we're all here to support each other and their projects, especially if we're doing impact. Just make sure that it's getting out there, and like how to using this technology by creating real world changes. And that's what I see a lot. Whether you're passionate about gender equality or climate change or oceans or energy, that's there's a little bit of everything there. So that's why I was using the Sustainable Development Goal SDGs from the United Nations as that framework for creating impact. And this year we're going to do the same thing. Miami is a ground zero for sea level rise and climate change. So we're going to have a strong narrative of that, how artists are using these technology, to be part of the action as opposed to a bystander. So that's another good example of like the art tech and impact side of Basel that I love to bring to the table.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Ariana, I know, are you able to go back into the Twitter X space? Like, are you on your mobile phone right now?
No, I'm on my PC with you guys, so I've never done like both. So I didn't want the sound to interfere with the
No,
recording.
that's fine. I'd love for you to just join so that I can tell people to follow you, so that they can easily click on your profile. Can you please just join again? I don't have to add you as a speaker, but I want your
Yeah.
PFP there so people can easily connect with you.
Yeah, for sure. Let me just see here. Stand by, Houston.
We're gonna
And
stand by. Oh, stand by. I used to live in H Town, to be honest. Like
I
for
did
10 years.
too.
Oh my.
We're
Oh, okay. We probably have friends.
twice. I lived there twice.
You lived there
So
twice. That's
wow, so I lived
hilarious.
in Katy on the Katy Richmond border the first time, and then I lived in Webster by like over by NASA the second time.
Oh no, I literally lived on San Jacinto and between Maine and oh my God, just before the
Like by
downtown.
Like by Memorial area?
Yeah, no, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Like in
Wentworth.
the
I lived,
610, like in the
I
inner
lived
loop, right?
literally in 1106 Wentworth between Maine and San Jacinto. But the building's not there. They pulverized it for a parking lot for the flower shop, and then I
Oh
lived
my
in
gosh.
Southside again. Anyway, we're gonna talk more. But
Yeah.
did you Lex is laughing. He's like what?
Lex, we are overdue for a meeting, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
I
Yeah,
want to
it's
know.
definitely will look to bring all the communities. So those who are listening, if you're an artist and are planning to be in Miami, please reach out to us. We welcome. We are doing a showcasing. There's a type form that is pinned to the X space that you can
Yes,
sign up, and we love to showcase your art.
yes, please. Yes, please. I
Yeah,
think Jorge just joined too at Tech Cortez. He's one of the co-founders.
yes.
Hi, Jorge. So glad for you to join. Hey, you can join the live stream if you want. Scarlett can send it to you. We'll have a big party. Yay! Beachman's right there. Everyone, please follow Ariana Fiki. She's Beach Mama Boo on she just joined the Twitter X space, and please follow Scarlett as well. Please follow the Basel Art Twitter X account. In addition to follow Jorge, you can see him with
yes.
little cool pink glasses, and he's like an astronaut getting ready to like take off. Uh, I hope Rex Gatling is in here. Oh damn, he keeps popping in and out. You need to know about Rex Gatling. He's one of the XR developers. He's developed apps and games and art on MetaQuest and X-Real glasses. So he's been coming on and off. Rex, if you can hear, you guys really need to connect with him, and I will connect you guys with him. I could definitely see some of his pieces. Go on, you guys. You're going to say
Yeah,
something.
no, definitely. Lex is actually working with us as well, so he's helping us.
Who, Rex Gatling?
No, sorry, which Lex?
Lex. She
Yes,
said, I think, yeah, Lex.
No, there's another guy called Rex. He's out of
Rex.
New York.
No,
He's,
no,
he's
different
not.
Lex.
No, I'll
That's
connect with you.
Lex.
I'll connect him with you because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
he's going to join.
Yeah, and that's what it is. We're doing that call to action to get artists, especially if you're on the metaverse side of things. We love to have you and host you to do this showcasing, because this is how a lot of the people discover the location where the Sagamore is really what I call the Times Square. This happens.
Yeah,
But
historic.
also always do activations all the time. Is that this is our Super Bowl event, and we spend the whole year just helping build the community, educate them to have to do this global showcase in December. After they educate, they have an awesome opportunity then to kind of highlight what they learned throughout the year at our events. So that's really the takeaway from all of this. So if you're a creator, an artist, want to get involved, fill out that type form, reach out to Bit Basel Arts for us. We're looking for you. We would love to highlight how the creator industries are using this art technology throughout the week. Miami Art Week is definitely a bucket list for people. Like, I can't express, it's a citywide activation with multiple art fairs, but we definitely want to show like how creative industries are using this merchant technology at this event. So yes, there's also opportunity if you're XR AI blockchain developer or an artist. We love to highlight your work.
Yeah, and even music. So there's also a guy named Joe. He's actually created 13 AR VR experiences on over the reality, and it's called 13 Haunted Hexes. I'm just saying, because
Wow.
it's like a mystery Halloween theme. Could that still be a submission?
I think yes.
I mean, it's really fantastic. You know what it is? It's like you're immersed in a comic book.
Yeah.
You have to see it.
Absolutely. I think when we say the arts, because the theme this year is the future of the arts, that's in reference to creator industry, whether you're a musician, fashion, movies. So it's not necessarily just like your traditional art. We will have physical art piece there, and we definitely encourage you to also submit physical art piece. Don't just think it's just, oh, I'm a musician, I can't be part of. No, or I'm a fashion designer. No, we want you.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Perfect.
I was going to just remind everyone too, the music part is something that's really cool that I think sometimes, gets overlooked. But we've got, incredible creators from the music industry that have really strong ties with tech and are very involved in this space, like Mims. You might know Mims from This Is Why I'm Hot. You may have seen the commercials, the Cheetos commercials most recently. He is a Floridian now, and he is like so jazzed up to be there supporting this event. That's awesome. And then we have like Scott Page from Pink Floyd, which is so incredible. And also we have, I believe, confirmed Scarlet Nappy Roots, right?
That not
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's going to be an epic event. And I do feel like, I will tell you, we're going to have a lot of energy popping up impromptu around this because it's such a historic event at the Sagamore, which has such a great history of kind of where all the worlds collide. So, hey, like, jump into it. Like, make sure you're following on Twitter, Bit Basel. Make sure you're following on Instagram to get all the updates and Facebook, just to stay up with the latest and greatest as things unfold as we get closer to the event. But it's going to be one for the books for sure.
Oh my God. You know what? Scarlett, I'm so glad you invited Ariana. Like I know she told me about you and she really hoped that you could join and
Oh,
I just feel
thank
so
you.
blessed. I'm really grateful that you're here. I love the sound of both of your voices. I love your background. I'm just like, guys, I'm kind of like girl fanning over here. Like I thought Scarlett was my girl crush, girl nerd crush.
Scarlett's all of
I
our
don't
girl
know.
crush.
I'm kind of right, like both of you. I'm like, I don't know. This is like insane. But before you go, I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. We are an hour and a minute in, but I kind of have a few more questions. And Ariana, I'd love for you to
I
stay.
do have to hop. I'm so sorry. I have a meeting, but I'm so glad. I can't wait to connect in the future. But I hope you guys to see you soon and connect soon. Thank
Oh,
you.
definitely. Please follow Ariana or Beachma
Yeah.
Mama on X Space. Please, everyone, and thank you so much. Yay, it's Scarlett, just you and I. I do want to introduce you to Hexadize. Hexadize is in the Twitter X Space. Hex, if you are here, I'm gonna bring up Hexadize right now. Da, da, da. Come on, Hex, unmute the mic. So Hexadize, he's going down with a group of us down to Miami, and hopefully we definitely will connect. Hex, are you able to speak?
I think so. Check, check.
Yep. Hey, check, check. Hey, my man.
We are going to Miami. We are playing with all the tech because that's just, I mean, it's just what you do at Art Basel, And it's funny because it's just what people do. And there's so many different like AR, AI, XR platforms that people have been playing with anyway. From like Illust, like I remember Illust going down and you could leave the notes all around the cities and everything like that. You could just drop your NFT straight right there. That was a lot of fun, and that's still going on with all these platforms. And now to like watch and see all the different things that people have left over time is like this story of Basel, the AR. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to be out there playing with all the different platforms. And Scarlett, it is a pleasure to meet you and get to hear your story and how you got there.
Oh, I know, that's great. So can you hear, somebody says they can't hear any sound on the space now, but I don't know. Hi, Moody. Thank you for sharing. Hex, are you able to jump on the live stream or no? Hex?
No, I can't actually. No,
Okay.
we're doing the daddy thing still. We're still doing the schools and things like that right now. But yes, I'm here.
All right. Thank you so much. Before you do go, I want to, sorry, Scarlett, can you mention anything about Winter Wonderland?
The Wonderland Adventure, yes, we're kicking that off in November, right? So November 15th with the Orgasmic event right here in Dallas. And then there's the North American Blockchain Summit directly after that. So we'll have a lot of AI avatars in augmented reality already placed out throughout the city of Dallas. People can meet them and develop them around the SMU campus, which is where the George Bush Library is for the NABs. And then around North Park Center as well, in the National Sculpture Garden and everything like that. So that'll be at the end of November, right? And then we're gonna go straight to Art Basel. We're gonna play with all of these toys again over there. It's then there's South by Southwest, and the Wonderland adventures continue. And it's the Wondar land that we're living now, where it's augmented reality everything.
That is so true. Hex, I'm so glad for your time. Thank you for being able to join and talking about Winter Wonderland that's coming up, and then Wonderland that is literally 365 24/7. I'm going to go back to Scarlett. So if you are listening here in Metaverse Radio or you're just joining any of the multi-streams and joining here on our Tech Talk Tuesday Bit Basel featuring Bit Basel, I am here with Scarlett Arana. She is one of the co-founders of Bit Basel Miami, and they are going to be having this huge event. Actually, this is going to be the 5th event starting December 2nd. Is it to December it's a whole week. It's a whole week of art and technology activations for all types of artists, whether you're a musician, a fashion designer, an RL artist, the OG, or somebody getting into the digital art space or beyond. Please, I have links here to the website. You can find out more about Basel Miami. If you are listening, just go to www.bitbasel.miami, bitbasel.miami, to have more information. There are links in that website if you are an artist or a content creator and you want to submit something to be part of Bit Basel Miami. I think now is the time to do that. You know what? I have so many other questions to ask Scarlett, but they've been kind of like answered all throughout. I do have Lex at Tech Mental wants to come up to speak. I'm going to bring him up. But you know what? I want to ask Scarlett one thing, though. Wow, there's so much. So I wanted to talk about the future of art in Web3, and then I also wanted to talk about blockchain education, which I know you're so big in. So let's talk about, I know you've already said this, but I'm going to say this again for people who are out there so we can kind of like pull information out of Scarlett's brain. So Scarlett, the future of art in Web3. What do you envision for the future of art in Web3? Like, how do you see NFTs evolving? Like we know NFTs has been around for like almost like less than a decade now, and some people say NFTs are dead, but no, not really. So I want to know from your point of view, how do you see NFTs evolving, and what new opportunities could like AR VR bring to the artist's creativity? Or I should stop saying AR VR and just really say XR.
XR.
Yes.
Well, definitely, I would say the future is now, because for the first time, a lot of the stuff that was educating for years was very abstract because we didn't quite have the tech. We didn't have the Magic Vision Pro from Apple, and the generative AI. OpenAI wasn't really here yet. So now people are hearing this in the contentness of reality. So the future of art. So BitBasel is actually creating a marketplace built on Internet Computer Protocol, which is a decentralized internet itself. So we're actually building the ability to create inscribed art on Ordinals, which is on a Satoshi of Bitcoin. So what that means is the art is immutable and is decentralized because it's not stored in a data center. It's decentralized and decentralized, because Bitcoin is also a technology. So Ordinal, the ability to inscribe art in Ordinal not only gives a worth, but it's also immutable, so it can never be taken down. So it's a form of digital preservation. So that's like the future of how NFT, which is a smart contract, the Ordinals actually gets inscribed to that. And so that brings a lot of high value. Think about pneumatics, like a quarter, right? That has a art. So that it's still worth a quarter, but the fact that it has a unique inscription art, it gives it even more value. So to the digital preservation of art. On the spatial computing side, of course, is a data capture to ability to digitize and create a digital twin layer that can be then seen on a metaverse is something that's also being integrated. And of course, the general AI, your AI agent personal assistants, a good facility of how this is all going to be this. So this is all going to be part of the Bit Basel marketplace, where for the first time you could create immutable technology artworks through the creative industry that can now be immutable and decentralized as well. Because we like to artists who are doing these one-on-ones. Because the biggest pain point within the industry is that they have to create outcompete the PP projects like the Bored Apes, but those artists who are doing like physical art piece or very unique tailored type of artwork, it became a bit of a challenge. So we wanted to help the ability to create immutable technology that gets inscribed in these artworks. So that's really the future of these NFTs currently, and where it's all heading. Blockchain itself is only 15 years old, so we're barely scratching the surface of what's even capable of what this technology. Same thing with generative AI and XR. We're now starting to see, the meta glass and augmented reality and how deep in decentralized physical storage is also going to be a big component to the spatial computing angle of how this emerging technology. But all this can actually be seen and showcased through our events. It's better to see it and actually onboard yourself and learn how to use it. Sometimes having a conversation is a bit too abstract. What do you mean digital twin? What does that even look like? Because, if you've never seen it, it's like describing an internet to somebody who's never been on the internet. So, so we're in that situation. So we're talking about the 3D internet and how the future of these artworks are going to be, have the ability to be immutable and decentralized, about ownership, owning your IP through NFTs. So that's going to be a big component to with our platform. It's going to be ready. We're going to have a little demonstration on how you can inscribe your first ordinal piece on the Bitcoin layer 1. And so that's going to allow artists to help monetize and have that ownership. So it's really interesting. Again, it's we're just barely scratching the surface what's even possible. This is why I love this year's theme, the future of the arts, because we kind of think about art. Oh, this must be physical art. And no, I'm talking about music and fashion, movies, and how do you monetize your IP, and that lives off the internet, and even the ability to create the immutable technology of this by inscribing art through Ordinals. So that's something that's quite exciting to me. On these emerging technology. But yeah, so if you have a project, and even if you don't have an NFTs, we'll help you and educate you how to mint your very first NFT collection. That's something that we do offer, and you get to speak to the thought leaders, and that's what we're really known for too. So that is very important.
That's crazy. Okay, so I have Richard on X, and he said, "Is it expensive to put art on BTC?"
So with ICP, it uses reverse gas fee. So it's really just the conversion to get BTC, CKBTC. So it's reverse gas fee. So there's no gas. That's why we're building ICP. ICP actually uses chain fusion, so it works with all protocols. So it works on Bitcoin, Ethereum now is being developed on Solana. So if you're interested in blockchain, learning ICP, definitely come and talk to us, because we definitely will give a workshop of how the Internet Computer Protocol works, utilizing our marketplace.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, go on. You said a whole bunch of stuff that I'm like, what? And I'm pretty sure some people kind of like, what? So Richard, if you are on Twitter X, please follow Basel Art, and also follow Scarlett Arana on X, so that you can you can connect with her. I think this is like fantastic. I'm hoping you're asking because you have something you want to put on the blockchain, and maybe you also want to contribute to Basel Miami, which I think is fantastic. I'm gonna bring on at Tech Mental right now. He's on the Twitter X space. He probably has a question, or he may want to add something. But before I do, I just want to do a shout out to everyone here that is still here and that has joined. Shout out to LM Designs, Jorge. Oh my God, I think we've covered all the co-founders of Basel, so that's fantastic. So glad to have you here, Jorge. Altered Alley, Honeycomb, One Woman, CryptoCam, Era, Joe, Elias, Rover, Strawberry, Brain. What is your name? Brain Pasta. Ooh, Brain Pasta, and Fractal. I gotta look this up. Fractal Ego with a zero, and of course, Dinaz, you're still here. Thank you so much for joining. Lex, and of course, Hexadive. But Lex, go ahead. You have the mic, sir.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning, good afternoon. I was gonna shut out the room, but you just stole the wind. But let's start from scratch. Shout out to all the XR, AR freaks and original crypto artists out there. Yeah, like, what more can we say, right? Yeah, thank you for this. Thank you for this space. What's up, Scarlett? Great seeing you and hearing you and the whole crew, Jorge. Yeah, I just love everything that I'm hearing and everything that I'm kind of inspired by and working, towards. Just for the record, within the video space and the audio space, I went ahead and embedded the type form where anyone can go ahead and submit. Deadline is 11/15/2024. That's November 15, 2024, where you can go ahead and go in there and submit for your digital art. Theoretically, it can be on chain or off chain. And BitBasil is also accepting entries for physical art, which, yeah, if you want, DM me, go to bitbasil.miami and find out more how you can participate. So it should be a very, very dope event. And again, I'm hoping to see a lot of XR, a lot of VR situations, but there's going to be all levels. And it's a lot. What I love about this particular and what I have since it was Bitcoin Center is just the education part of it. And where nobody is kind of like, this is your day one, is because everyone's day one. I love to learn every day from everybody who I'm listening to and everybody in this room. And for the record, in this room, we have all community leaders. Like, you look at this room and it's everybody is just a leader within their realm, within their tech, within their art. And this is definitely my crew in this room. So yeah, I just want to kind of throw that in there, which has already been said in just in other levels in other languages.
Oh, do you want to say that in Spanish? Speaking of languages, do you want to do all that in Spanish? Wait, say that again. Scarlett didn't hear.
Come on.
Scarlett, did you hear him? He said something probably.
No, I didn't hear, unfortunately.
Oh.
No worries. Definitely work with Lex en Spanish. Claro, vamos a ayudar a la gente de hispano que quiere venir, la arte del futuro. Si quieren entrar su arte, simplemente llenar la forma a rento en nuestro X Spaces para que pueda participar. Es diciembre 2 hasta el 8. Cualquier persona que está haciendo creación de arte puede participar en el futuro de las artes, que es una exhibición de todo tipo de artes, o si tú que tienes cine físico o digital, queremos tú para que puedas participar en este evento en diciembre.
Oh, wow, that's perfect. See how I left? Because I wanted to have that clip in case, you guys were going to snatch that. Thank you so much for that. Guys, it's like an hour and 18 minutes in. If you have any questions for Scarlett, please let me know. Raise your hand up. Scarlett, I do want to do a shout out to a kid called MetaBeast. Thank you for joining. I also want to do a shout out to Meta Architect. So Meta Architect, I had just come across him, I believe last week, and he's an entrepreneur out of Toronto, my hometown, and he is actually talking to the city entities that be trying to get Toronto as a digital twin. And I love that Meta Architect, you are here. Please follow Scarlett. She's one of the speakers, but she's also on the live stream. If you can follow Scarlett Arana, she's all about the digital twin, and maybe somewhere after Basel Miami, you guys can connect and talk about that, and maybe Miami and Toronto can become sister cities if they're not already, right? Like this is fantastic. So honestly, Meta Architect, I'm so glad you've joined. A shout out to you. But if anybody wants to ask questions, please let me know. Raise up your hand or type it in the chat on any of the multi streams or on X, and I'll share it with Scarlett. Scarlett, are you good for time?
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, yeah, I could talk all day. For those who know me, I love to nerd out. I'm definitely technical. So having these conversation. So yeah, whether you're first time new to the space of Web3, don't feel intimidated. That's why we prioritize the educational first, and do the showcasing of how artists are using this technology. So it's just going to be very interesting because we always as the technology is evolving very fast. So, and a lot of people are utilizing this in a very convergence way. So there's definitely a lot of augmented reality. We have one artist who's creating digital twin augmented reality, like a museum within the Sagamore. So that's a cool installation. There's a lot of physical art piece with the augmented reality layer, of course. The metaverse, of course, there's different type of, so we will have the Vive there with haptic gloves and so forth. So as an example. So yeah, we could go very deep on that. And of course, generative AI, twin and digital twin generated AI agent will be there. We have a proto, which is a telepresence machines that can help greet people. Those never seen it. So life size hologram.
Wait, Scarlett, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just thought of something to ask you, and I wanted to ask you this. I'm glad you mentioned hardware and gear.
Yeah.
So you guys, you already know where to go to visit Bit Basel if you want to find out more about it. It is Bit Basel. It's you don't have to do the www. It depends on how they did the domain thing, but you can just go to bitbasel.miami, bitbasel.miami. If that doesn't work for you, then stick the 3 W's in the beginning with a dot. But so you know where to go for artists who want to submit, for artists, musicians, designers, if fashion designers, if you know where to submit your work to participate or to join in Bit Basel. It's also on the website. It's also on pinned to the, what is it, the billboard up on Twitter X Space. Now, however, can we talk about sponsorships, Scarlett? I'm pretty sure you guys have your usual suspect sponsors. I'm just guessing. But in terms of like hardware and gear, because we've had this conversation yesterday, and what you said is totally rings true. Artists are truly the ambassadors of platforms and any type of resource, tool, or gear that we're going to use for the future. Artists are definitely, or content creators are definitely the brand evangelists for whatever. So can you tell me right now what type of like gear or tech hands-on hardware we will be able to see during Bit Basel Miami?
Yeah, we definitely have types of gear. In order to reduce the digital divide, it's not enough to talk about spatial computing if you've never been to like a Vision Pro headset or Meta glass if you never actually even used the gear. So it does cause a little bit of friction in terms of people having access, because in the end of the day, it's all about access, and that's really where the adoption happened. And so we definitely welcome protocols or startups who have gear and want to kind of display, because we're going to have a lot of creators and to like showcase how they're using these headsets and so forth. But oftentimes, we use a hologram because it's more visual. It's easy to understand. It doesn't require training. It's just there, right? So it's a cool technology. So that's really my key point to all this. So if you are a company who say adoption and want to sponsor our events and kind of onboard a lot of these creators, we would definitely welcome that, because that's really going to be the key component to the success of adoption. It kind of validates the use case of the technology. So that's very important to us. And for me, it was, again, I'll give an example. I was talking about spatial computing and Apple Vision Pro a little bit before it came out. People didn't even quite understand it. But of course, there's a lot of different VR and spatial, like Magic Leap is another spatial computing type of device, and people didn't know about that. And because I had the barrier of entry, not having the gear. But yes, so that's a cool opportunity again. But yeah, that's why it's a showcasing, an art fair showcasing of all these merchant from the creator lens, how creators are using these technology, and how they're adopting the technologies.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Do you guys have a sponsorship deck somewhere on the website where people can kind of like have access to?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely pin it here or reach out to us. That's not a bad idea. I didn't even think about that. I'm always thinking about more of the creator stuff. And so if you'd like to get involved, we definitely have a sponsorship deck there that you can look at. It's a hotel takeover. So we do the showcase both inside and outside. Because if you're coming to Miami, you're gonna want to see exactly what Miami is all about. It's beaches, right next to the beach. There's going to be a pool. There's a pool area. There's definitely going to be a pool party. And all inside is all the showcase of the art as well. So that's why it's a cool venue. It's set up for that. It's an art hotel. And where we're going to activate both the inside and outdoor venue area. And get to enjoy the whole Palm Beach where everybody comes. Miami in December is like nice, frisky, 84 degrees. So it's a good time to be in Miami. Seasonally is very friendly. So, we're definitely going to do outdoor art installation. So if you're an artist, you have an outdoor art, we can put it outside as well.
Oh my God, thank you for that. So for those of you listening on Metaverse Radio or watching on any of the multi-streams or listening to Twitter X Space, even if you're listening anonymously, if you or anyone you know, or you have someone in your network, family members who you feel could possibly want to sponsor Basel Miami, you can always point them to the direction of the website www.bitbasel.miami. And if you're on the Twitter X Space, please follow BitBasel. In addition to Scarlett and Jorge, he's the guy with the pink shades and the astronaut. You just saw we had Scott Spiegel, one of the co-founders. We have Scarlett currently with us, and we have also Jorge. So we have three of the co-founders here, and we also had Ariana. She's also part of the Bit Basel team as well. If you want to sponsor this fantastic event, get your logo out there, get your name, just collaborate with any of the artists and designers, and just just go ahead and do it, please, and be part of this. I'm sure they have different levels of sponsorship. Hit them up, go to the website, try to find this the sponsorship deck, or just DM me or reach out to me wherever you're listening or watching this, and I'll definitely connect you, because my God, like we already know, Miami is the hub for global technology and the art scene, and the things that's happening in Miami Art Week, in addition to what Bit Basel is doing, not just for Miami or the United States, but globally for artists to collaborate and bringing in the like showcasing the types of use cases you can use with all these emerging technologies is just phenomenal. And honestly, this is the perfect time to get involved with a brand like this. So please, 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 sponsorship. In addition to artists, come on, join and participate. Don't be shy. You have the type form, you have the form. Go ahead and I think I want to submit something, but I don't know what to submit yet. Hex, help me. He knows some of my projects. Hex Dice knows some of my projects, but I don't know. I'm just like, "Woo." Okay, we're gonna end this. Okay, Hex, we'll talk. Okay, we'll talk. Thank you, Hex. Okay, Scarlett. Um, Thank you so much for your time. I know it's an hour and a half in, but I really want to be cognizant of everybody's time, because we've got a lot of content creators here and they need to create content. And they're probably having meetings. I do want to shout out to CNET's Moon and Art Hexa. Thank you for joining. But Scarlett, if you have any, not last words, but anything you want to say to kind of like end this wonderful space and live stream. I really appreciate you. This will not be the last time. You guys, I'm going to give a little bit of alpha. I'm going to bring in Scarlett Arana, who is this spatial computing nerd, an XR. I'm going to bring her into the Over the Reality weekly space to talk with another spatial computing nerd, our co-founder and COO, Diego Di Tomaso. And we're going to watch him go. I mean, they're not going to debate. They're literally, apparently, I've heard that they're pretty much on the same wavelength. I'd love to have them speak in terms of spatial computing, the future of it, innovation, what Over the Reality is doing, how Scarlett Arana sees Over's use cases moving forward in the spatial computing space. And this is going to be fantastic. I don't know when that's going to happen yet. It's just, it will be set up. So just follow Over the Reality, follow Bit Basil, follow Scarlett, follow me. You're following me, and look forward to that conversation on spatial computing in the future with Scarlett Arana and Over the Reality's co-founder and COO Diego Di Tomaso. Diego, if you're watching this, yep, I'm pulling you in. Scarlett, do you have anything you want to say or add? You go, girl.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I just want to emphasize that we're creating the new digital renaissance, and we want you to build with us. And what way to do it? By collaborate. We are big collaborators in the space. We're big educators. We prioritize education first and help us create the new digital renaissance that's changing the world. How amazing is that? It really is. This is an exciting time to be part of this, even if you're a first timer or an OG Web3 person. We want to have you in our events and kind of, bring everybody together from all these conversion ecosystems and from Earth to the moon.
No, that is true. You know what? I was just thinking of something. I'm going to put Scarlett on a spot. Scarlett, if you don't mind, can after Bit Basel or maybe during or prior to, can we get an hour of your time? And I would love to have like either a Zoom or a video call on Google Meets with female only. I would love to have you on, Ariana on, LM Designs on, One Woman, Era X Labs, Strawberry, and any other female content creators in the XR space. I would really, really love that because I know you are such a proponent of supporting women. And you also support men. Like, hey guys, we love you. We love the man, okay? But or whatever. But I just want to say that because Scarlett and I see Ariana, you guys, both of you are such powerhouses in the tech, art, and collab space and blockchain. I would really love the opportunity for us to get together with LM Designs and Era X Labs and One Woman, Strawberry. They're all content creators, and I would love to connect with you. We can have like a tea or a coffee. We'll plan it behind the scenes, but I'm just going to say this. I think it would be fantastic because we can learn so much from you. And there could be so many, so much types of different collabs in the future. I would really love that. So, would you be open to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about collaboration because it is the meeting of the mind, like they say, that really changes the world. And this is where digital inclusiveness is super important as we start building out this new digital renaissance.
Yeah, thank you so much. So everyone here who is still listening, we on behalf of Bit Basil's whole team, and Scarlett already said it. Thank you so much for your time and listening. Like I said, you know the information, bitbasil.miami. Go to their website if you are a content creator or an artist in whatever field of art you do. We would love for you to participate and join and submit something, whether it's RL work, digital work, music, anything. You never know. In addition to the sponsorships that are out there. So please, it's a great time to be able to have your entity or your brand be part of a partner of this really great global, what do you call it? Like digital renaissance.
Yeah.
Want to be part of this, right? So let's go. Before we go, I'm going to close out on Metaverse Radio. Thank you for all the listeners out there. I do want to remind everyone that this program's content is not necessarily represent the views of Metaverse Radio and it's for entertainment only. It is not legal, medical, financial, or investment advice. The host, guest speakers, artists, and other collaborators may have personal or financial interests in the subjects they discuss. So please critically assess the information presented. Not all content is appropriate for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. I do want to shout out to Scott and Ariana for joining us. Thank you so much. And for Lex and Hex, I love that. Lex and Hex for coming out to speak. We'll catch you later. Scarlett, thank you so much for your time. And everyone, have a great rest of your week. All right. Okay. Bye, everyone. I'm going to close. Yes. See you in Miami. See you in Miami, baby. Let's all salsa together. Woohoo. All right. I'm going to end the stream, but I'm going to put some music on and we will just go. Da, da, da. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye, Scarlett.